Hello, I'm Walter Gibson. Today I'll be doing my informative speech on the significance and origins of tattoos. Tattooing has been here for a very long time, actually. It started around the Neolithic time period and had an upbringing soar in around the ancient Greek times. Tattooing purposes were very different than they are now. Back then, they were used to mark criminals, separate in different species and cultures. Some even dated back to being associated with acupuncture that was used in ancient Chinese times with certain lines horizontally and vertically around your body and around certain areas of your body. Nowadays, tattoos have a different purpose, different meaning. A lot of people get tattoos for the attention, for expression, the artwork. Some to be rebellious, just as a personal narrative. Some reminds them of spiritual upbringings, some cultural based. There's a whole lot of different motives to get tattoos now than it was back then. Around like the 1980s, 1990s is when tattooing became more of a public thing around America. Back when, like around Allen Iverson's time, he's a one big figure. He started the trend. There's a big trend with tattoos, especially in African American culture and just athletes in general. He took the stand and was able to be different, covered his body, neck, some face tattoos, and was able to show it and have a purpose behind it. And that helped lead and almost influence the younger generations, his generation, to be more open and public with tattoos. And I feel like that was the start of the trend. More so, not I wouldn't say exactly Allen Iverson himself, but him making that step, breaking that barrier, and allowing people feel comfortable with tattoos, allowed that to start the trend around the youth and people around my age and athletes in general. For the purpose of this video, I would like to explain the significance of my tattoos, just like how he has his significant tattoos and how he explains in different documentaries on how his tattoos mean certain things to him. I'd like to explain and in detail the reasons why I have tattoos and reasons why I've gotten tattoos. So first off, when I was 16, I got this tattoo with these Chinese symbols and this verse. On the verse, it says, "No stronger bond than that of a mother and son." Growing up, I was raised with just my mother and, well, really just my mom. And it was hard, of course, difficult. And we've had a very close, tight-knit relationship. So that's something that symbolizes just our bond. And the two Chinese symbols means mother and son. My next tattoos are representations of my origin. So I was born and raised in Alexandria, Virginia, and that's the area code for this. And the reason why I have the concrete built around it is to resemblize a rose growing out of like concrete in a sense. Back when I was younger, my grandma would always say a rose growing up in Spanish Harlem. And so when I think of my life, I feel like I've came from places that people wouldn't really want to come from, or came from things that most wouldn't have to go through. So that's like a symbolism for me that I've came from for something like, and when I was in this area of my life. On the opposite side, I have the 919 and the Raleigh skyline. So that's where I'm currently at now, located in Raleigh, North Carolina. And the reason why I have the skyline and the way it's designed is because I feel like in this area of my life, and when I was born and raised, when I was raised in Raleigh, is when I grew as a person, as a man, athlete, student, all that. And I feel like as the buildings, how they're newer and how they were constructed, how they're placed, how they're designed, is somehow I feel with my life like everything was structured, designed, and meant for a certain reason. And I feel like the look is almost, I don't know how to put it, but this is the reason why I got it is for just the symbolic meaning. Next, I have the resurrection on my wrist, because every day I want to be reminded that God died on the cross for me. That's not something that needs to be done, but for me personally, I like, when I look at my tattoos, I like to have certain meanings to remember certain things, or like certain meanings to make me feel a certain way. And with this tattoo, it helps me remind that I need to stay focused and do the things that God wants me to do at all times, because he didn't have to do this. He didn't have to die on the cross for me. He didn't have to do half the things he does for me in my life. So that's just a small token that I like to look at every single day to remind myself to do better and do all that I can for him and myself. Right here, I have my tattoo saying "Blessed beyond measure." Like I was saying with the tattoo of Alexandria, I had to grow up with a lot of different obstacles, birth obstacles, living obstacles, just different things. And so I truly feel like I'm a blessed individual. And I got it in the color of red because almost ties in with everything else around my body, is right with God. I'm a very big spiritual person. I wanted this saying blessed beyond measure in blood, like on the blood he shed for me, because without his blood I wouldn't be blessed. Then right here, I have the stairway to heaven. Another thing, I only have 4 names right now. I've had some friends die recently, but right now I have my 4 foundations in the ribbon. The two doves holding the ribbon have 4 names. One is Long Live Granny, Long Live Uncle Harold, Long Live Uncle Aries, and Long Live Cousin Lionel. Those are 4 big people, like older people in my life that passed away, that helped set the foundations for me. And so I feel like that's just a token of respect for them. And just as more people leave my life, people that are very close to me, I want to add on to ribbons around my arm just to symbolize where we're going to meet up at the end place. I don't know, I was always taught that tattooing was a bad thing. In church, growing up, taught that tattooing was a sin or this, that, and the third. But I honestly thought, I always had my own personal opinion about tattoos, thinking that they had a deeper meaning. I could always see through the look, the persona, like the stereotype behind tattoos. Always was able to look through that, and I appreciated them more on a deeper level. And I feel like people in this generation have that same feeling, have that same thought process, but it's still something that gets looked down on. And I would like people to change their mindset and understand people's motives behind getting tattooed before they judge them by a look. And that is my informative speech.